Hello, hello. Welcome back to Shanificent. My name is Shani and I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much for being here. The title of this video is People Upsetting You is a Good Thing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to be the one to deliver this message, but it's the truth. People upsetting you is actually a good thing. You might be like, what? How? Where? Why, how? How can someone upsetting me? How can me being upset because of something someone did to me or said to me be a good thing? How is that good? In what world is that good? In the world where you are fully accountable for everything that happens to you, in the world where you are in your power and you wield your own power and create a beautiful life for yourself. In that world, people upsetting you is actually a good thing. Why? Because it actually reveals you to you. You being upset because of something someone said to you or did to you actually reveals you to you. Now, why is that valuable? Why is that a good thing? Because if you know you better, then you can be you better. If you know you better, if you know yourself better, then you can be yourself better. You can be a better version of yourself. You have more power and control over how you show up in the world, over your choices, over your decisions, over how you live your life, which is what we're all about here on Shanificent. So, yeah, people upsetting you is a good thing. I guess let's go into the mechanics of it. So, how does it reveal you to you? When someone upsets you, it actually, how you respond to someone else actually reveals a lot more about you than it does about them. So for example, if someone wears something, let's say like someone wears like bright yellow, you're at a function and someone's wearing bright yellow and you're disgusted. It looks awful. It offends you. You hate it so much, so much so that like you can't even be there. Now you're having a bad time at the event. It's not fun to you and you have to leave early and you're mad. You're like, why did that person, like, why did they even come? Why did they wear that? Who asked them to wear that? Why would they wear that? Now, like, I was upset. Now I didn't get to have fun at the event, and you're upset, you're mad, and it's their fault in your eyes. Well, someone who wants to live a life they love, wants to enjoy themselves in their life, and someone who takes ownership over their joy in their life would ask themselves, why did that upset me so much? Like, what was it about that person wearing bright yellow that upset me so much, that triggered me so much? And for those of you that don't know, to be triggered is like when something evokes an emotional reaction out of you. And usually it's in the context of a negative emotional reaction. So usually people, when someone says I was triggered, they mean that they were inspired into a negative emotional reaction by the actions or the words of someone else or something else or another situation or whatever. So what was I saying? Yes. Why did the yellow offend you so much? Maybe it reminds you of, I don't know, like a school teacher you had who always used to write with a yellow pen and they were awful and they made you feel really small and they made you feel really bad at math, or and that's why you just felt they made you feel really incapable, and so seeing bright yellow makes you feel super incapable and makes you feel small, and you'd rather not have to see it. Like that would be easier if you just didn't have to see yellow at all. But that person just wore yellow because they have the free will to wear whatever color that they want to wear to the function. So they wore yellow to the function, and now you were triggered. You were triggered into that wound, that memory, negative emotional memory of feeling small and feeling incapable because of your teacher's yellow pen that they always marked your stuff with, your tests with or whatever. So, okay, so now that tells you, oh, there is something inside me. There's still a part of me that feels incapable and that feels small and that feels weak, and feels incompetent. And as much as this might surprise you, this is why it's tough. This is why, let me tell you, like, this is very humble work. This is humble work. This is a humble space we're in right now. This is a humble space we're in, and it will humble you, and it will be uncomfortable to sit with this and to process this and to have this conversation with yourself. So if you're having it, I really commend you. And if you're trying to have it, I really commend you, you know? Yeah, so it reveals to you that there's a part of you that feels small and incapable and incompetent, okay? And this might come as a shock to you, because maybe in your conscious mind, your conscious mind meaning the part of you that you already know, the way you know yourself, you're confident. What do you mean? You're confident, you're accomplished, you've accomplished so many things, you know, you're confident, you believe in yourself, you know, consciously. That's what you consciously think about yourself. However, what this person wearing yellow has revealed to you is subconsciously you don't feel so competent and so capable. You don't. There's still a part of you, because the thing is about emotions is they actually stay with us. If we don't feel them fully, they stay with us for the rest of our lives. They're just going to sit there. So maybe you didn't fully process that emotion as a child because you didn't know how to, maybe you didn't feel like you could, you didn't have the space to, so you didn't process it as a child, and now it's still there. And now every time you see yellow, every time someone shows up in yellow feeling good about themselves, it triggers you. It makes you feel bad. It triggers that same wound, you know, from the past. And so many of us, we don't want to be triggered. I know it's super uncomfortable. That's the last thing we want. Ideally, I think for all of us, we would all love to never have to experience anything that makes us feel bad about ourselves. Ever. That would be great, wouldn't it? Like, we could just move through life, not having to deal with our issues, not having to process difficult things or uncomfortable things or negative emotions and experiences that happen to us. We can just ignore them and keep on moving and feel good. That would be nice. That would be super nice. I know. But that's too easy. Life doesn't want that for you. Life wants you to know yourself. And a lot of the time, our biggest learnings about ourselves comes from the exposure to parts of ourselves that we don't want to know about. You know, it's easy to learn that we're pretty, or we're smart, or we're good at making money, or we're creative, or we're, you know, X, Y, and Z. Insert whatever positive adjective you want. It's easy to learn that. It's easy to be aware of those things in ourselves, you know, to be aware of the things that we're praised for. But what about the things that don't make us feel so good about ourselves, the things that we're not super proud of? Because we all have them. We all have parts of ourselves that, you know, don't look so good on paper, or won't look so great on a resume, or, you know what I mean, don't look so great on our Tinder profiles, or X, Y, and Z, like just like stuff that you're not trying to really put out there in the surface, in the front for everyone to see, but they're there. And the reason why we hate when other people, we really try to victimize ourselves and put the blame on other people when they make us upset, is because we don't want to see these parts of ourselves. We don't want to see these parts of ourselves. We don't want to know these parts of ourselves. We want to pretend like they're not there. And you can do that. You have the free will to do that. You can pretend like they're not there. However, that will actually create more problems for you than just acknowledging them and just being in that icky, uncomfortable space of feeling less than, or feeling weird, or feeling embarrassed, or feeling uncomfortable. They are. And when you are in those places, feel free to watch my videos. Okay? A few of my videos kind of are intended to help support you in that space. The one about being humble, so you've been humbled. The one about strength looks like weakness sometimes. Check those ones out, you know, and come back to them. Come back to them when you're feeling, when you're in this space, when you're in this uncomfortable space, when you're upset and you're willing to look at why you're upset. And you're willing to take responsibility for being upset. In those spaces, those are the videos you need, okay? Because this is what this conversation is about. It's about being willing to take responsibility or take accountability for you being upset. So too often we just put the blame on other people. Because it's so much easier. It's so much easier to just say, oh, this person can't wear yellow. I don't want them to wear yellow. Could they just not wear yellow and just wait your entire life for this person to not wear yellow to the function so that you can feel okay, so that you don't have to face yourself. And you can do that, but you're going to be upset the whole time. Because now you're giving your power away to this person. You're waiting for the person to not wear yellow. Now you just have to sit like, twiddle your thumbs, waiting for the person to not wear yellow, to just pull up to the function and not wear yellow for once in their life. Please, please, please. Meanwhile, have you grown? Have you developed? Have you expanded? No, it's been 30 years. It's been 30 years. And you're still triggered by yellow. You still, and what's worse is you also don't know a part of yourself. Like, you don't, I think that's what like victimizing ourselves does to us. That's the loss we get from victimizing ourselves in these situations, is we don't get to experience ourselves fully. Like, your emotions are information. I've said this before in another video. Your emotions are information. They're information for you. They're telling you about yourself. They're talking to you about you. They're saying, hey, remember when we had that teacher in 8th grade and they made us feel awful and they made us feel really stupid and incompetent and incapable? Remember how sad that was? Remember that experience? And like, we want to avoid it because it's uncomfortable to feel. It's uncomfortable to feel sad and to be in the truth of our negative emotional experiences. It's uncomfortable. But it's part of your experience. It's part of your how you move through life. It informs some decisions you made after that, maybe old decisions up until now. And now now that you're aware of it, you're in a position to change your decisions. You can say, hey, you know what? That did make me feel bad, but I don't want to feel bad. Like, I don't want to feel bad about myself. I would like to feel good about myself. I would like to feel competent and capable. And I'm willing to believe that I can. I'm just willing to be open to that belief. I'm willing to believe that I can. And I'm willing to try to move in that direction. And then so from there on, you make new decisions, You say, maybe I should bring some yellow into my life. Maybe I should start wearing a bit of yellow just to start sort of trying to become more comfortable with it, just to see myself in that, just to allow that negative emotional experience I had to be seen and to be honored. And in doing that, it actually goes away. A huge truth you need to understand about emotions that will help you so much about emotions are emotions are energy in motion. Motion, energy in motion. So they move. They're supposed to move. Emotions are supposed to come, meet you here, come through you, and leave you. They're supposed to leave. They're not supposed to stay. But what happens, because to so many of us, because we don't actually feel our emotions honestly, authentically, in the moment, we don't allow ourselves to feel jealous. We don't allow ourselves to feel incapable and less than and small. We don't allow ourselves to feel incompetent. We don't allow ourselves to feel sad and disappointed. We don't allow ourselves to feel these things. So what does the emotion do? The sadness comes. And because you won't let it feel, you won't let it do what it needs to do, which is move. You won't let it move in you and then move out of you. It just comes and it goes, and it stays. And it just stays in your system. It's stuck now. Now it's stuck. And it's building your worldview. Now it's creating your worldview. Now you just think that you think that anyone who wears yellow is an awful person. Anyone who wears yellow will make you feel small. Now you associate yellow with negativity and feeling small. So anything yellow now is just negative. Now it's out to get you. It's dangerous, basically. Now you're like, yellow is dangerous. And now you're creating a life and a worldview where yellow is dangerous. And is that true? These are the kinds of questions you need to be asking yourself. Is that true? Is it true that yellow is dangerous? You might notice that other people, if you're open to seeing differently, you might notice that other people don't fear yellow in the same way that you do. If you're not open to it, you won't even see the people who don't fear yellow. You'll only see the people who do fear yellow, who agree with you that yellow is dangerous. So that's how small your world is. I've said before that fear makes your world smaller. It makes your world very small. Now you're in this tiny space. This is where you're living from. Yellow is dangerous. Yellow is dangerous. Yellow is dangerous, all because the emotion is sitting there. It's sitting there and it's building a world for you. It's building your world for you. It's building your reality for you from here. So are you going to be able to, I don't know what a huge dream of yours is. Maybe you want to be a CEO. CEOs don't fear yellow. They don't fear yellow. Or maybe you want to be, I don't even know, a university professor. What if you fearing yellow is getting in the way of you becoming a university professor? It's getting in the way because it's limiting your life. Because you're living from this tiny space where you need to be here to become a university professor. Let's say you need to do that to become a CEO, to do what you want to do, to own your dream house, to live in God knows where. You need to be here, but you're living from here. Okay? So the reason why people upsetting you is a good thing is because it reveals what you need to let go of, what you need to allow to move through you. What's stuck in you? What's stuck in you? It reveals what's stuck in you and what you need to just see. Just see it for the first, like, see it at first, just see it. That's all you need to do. That's all it's asking for in this moment. It just wants you to see it, acknowledge it. Stop pretending you're this person that doesn't feel sad or anxious or scared or angry or jealous. Stop pretending you're that person. You're not that person, and everyone does, so don't worry about it. Listen, emotions are experienced as a spectrum, okay? As a spectrum, and we experience all of them. Each one of us experiences all of them because we don't know one without the other. We don't know jealousy without knowing, like, sort of like satisfaction and safety in, and knowing abundance. Because jealousy, I think, stems from, like, it's kind of like a scarcity mentality. Like, there's not enough for everyone, so if that person has it, it means I can't have it, so I'm jealous. So you don't know, you wouldn't know jealousy if you didn't know abundance, right? If you didn't know abundance, feeling like there's enough for everyone. They're happy, great. I want that too, and I get to have it too. So you don't know sadness if you don't know happiness, because you don't know what it's like to be happy if you don't know what it's like to be sad. You just don't. So there's a spectrum of emotions that you need to feel. You need to feel all of them. And yes, not all of them are great. Not all of them feel good. That's just life, honey. That's just life. And you wouldn't know what feeling good is if you didn't know what feeling bad was. You actually wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. They're two sides of the same coin. They're in the same conversation. They're the same thing. Just two sides. So people upsetting you is a good thing. It doesn't feel like a good thing, but that's okay. Not everything that's good for us feels good. And I think grown, mature, responsible people, self-accountable people know that not everything that's good for us feels good. And conversely, not everything that feels good is good for us. Of course, yes, things that feel good are a sign that we're moving in the right direction and that things are for us, but a lot of things aren't. And self-mastery is about being able to discern, make these little distinguishments, is being able to discern these things, discern the slight differences between these things. And that requires being present, which I feel like I come back to regularly in my videos. All of this requires being present. You need to be present so that you can feel, oh, like, I don't feel good. And you don't have to do this processing now. Maybe you're with people, you're not able to do the processing. But later on, when you have some time to yourself, the self-aware person, the self-mastered person processes that with themselves and takes accountability for everything they feel. And is open to being shown what about themselves is inspiring this or evoking this emotional reaction. What is it in themselves that they need to look at? And I won't lie to you, sometimes it takes a while. It takes a few triggers. You won't get triggered once, and then you're available to see the truth about yourself, the uncomfortable truth about yourself. Even for me, like, it's taken, with some situations, it takes time. I needed to be triggered like 3 or 4 times for me to be like, fine, God, fine. I'll look at myself, okay? And usually you only get there because it's your only solution. Like, the thing has not changed. The person keeps triggering you, okay? The person keeps wearing yellow. They keep wearing yellow. And you're finding that there's nothing you can do to change that. It just keeps happening. Now what are you going to do? It's like, well, it looks like the power lies with me. It looks like I'm the only one that can... the only thing I can do is change how I feel about the person wearing yellow. I can't stop the person from wearing yellow. I can only change how I feel. So that's when you're like, okay, you say to yourself, you don't have to actually say this to yourself, but energetically, you're now more open to seeing what inside yourself is available to be changed so that you can be at peace. Yeah. So people upsetting you is a good thing. It's a good thing. And it's okay to be upset. I also want to say that, like, it's okay to be upset. I think a lot of the times we try to pretend we're not upset. We try to pretend things haven't affected us negatively. I know I still do that. But if you love yourself, I think also the more you love yourself, the more you want to be honest with yourself. The more you want to be true to yourself. So as you progress on your self-love journey, which if you've been watching a number of my videos, I would like to think that you are. I know you are. Like, you are. Even if you're not doing it consciously, you are. So as you progress on your self-love journey, you'll just want to be more true to yourself. You want to be more with yourself, more intimate with yourself, more close to yourself, like a friend, like a real friend, like your best friend, you know? And I think if you're willing, let's say if you have someone close to you in your life, like a close friend or like a really close family member, if you're willing to hold space for them, meaning you're willing to sit with them as they, or you're willing to sit with them as they kind of like do this work, or as they like get uncomfortably honest with themselves, then why can't you do that for yourself? Why can't you do that for yourself? You know? You deserve it. You deserve to be close to yourself. You deserve to feel safe with yourself, because this also builds self-trust and builds safety, a sense of safety with yourself, because now you feel you're safe to feel your wildest emotions, your most uncomfortable emotions, your most jealous, most vile, you know, most like violent emotions. You're willing to feel, to own those within yourself. Like, that's self-trust. That's self-intimacy, you know? That's a strong person. That's a strong person. That's a person who has mastered themselves. Someone who's willing to do that comfortably. Someone who's willing to be uncomfortable comfortably has mastered themselves. And that's the goal here on Shanificent. So I hope I explained that well. Oh, I hope you understood what I was trying to say. I hope you understand why people upsetting you isn't necessarily the disaster you think it is, even though it might feel like it is. I fully accept that it does feel like it is, but it's not. It's your own chaos. It's your own inner war. And I think you need to take accountability for that. We all need to take accountability for it. Let's stop blaming people for doing things. People are going to act the way that they act. People are going to say what they say. People are going to behave the way they behave. People have free will. You have free will. The next person has free will. We all have free will. People can do whatever they want. So we can't control what people do, okay? We can't. All we can control is how we respond to what people do. And that takes this kind of work. It takes self-honesty. It takes presence with yourself and presence with your life and with your situation, presence with your emotions, and everything else I said today. So thank you so much for watching me. If you would like to discuss this further with me, discuss a particular situation or something you're struggling with currently, or have been struggling with, or struggled with in the past with me to do with this, please reach out to me via email. My email is down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a really good day or night or morning, whenever you're watching this. Thank you. Bye.